All right. So starting on your back. When you get there, just hug your knees into your chest, rock and roll a little bit from side to side. Have your strap nearby. If you don't have a strap, you can use a scarf, a towel. If you don't have any of that, we can make this work without as well. So just coming onto your back here, giving the knees a squeeze into the chest and just rock a little bit from side to side. Start to take some nice deep inhales through your nose. Open the mouth, sigh the breath out, let it go. Ha. Do that a few times. And then just go ahead and release your feet down to the mat. Take your feet wide. Allow your knees to knock in towards each other. So constructive rest position. Allow your shoulder blades to start pressing down into the mat underneath you. Feel that widening across your heart and chest. Really try to relax all of your muscles here. Feel your bones get really heavy. And if your eyes aren't closed already, allow the eyelids to gently shut. And then take a nice deep inhale through your nose. Full, complete exhale through your nose. Starting to hook up that sound of your Ujjayi breath. So that inhale through your nose. That exhale through your nose. You're starting to listen to that soft rush of air in the back of your throat. And right away, just notice how that sound draws you in. It helps to quiet the mind. And maybe that's a little more difficult today than some days. That's okay. But we've kind of trained ourselves to drop into this quiet space as we've practiced this over and over and over again. So just enjoy these initial quiet moments. It's kind of like a little reset in the middle of the week, in the middle of your day. Another moment or two here. Just make sure that tension hasn't crept into your body. A lot of times in this position, we start to hold the groin or the inner thigh. The shoulders can creep up around the ears. Fingers, toes can get tense. There can be tension in the face and jaw. Let those places really release and relax. Good. Take a nice deep inhale here. Open your mouth, sigh the breath out. Ha. Start to heel toe your feet so they're hips distance apart. And then you can just have your strap handy here. We're going to hug our right knee into our chest, and you're going to just start to make some circles in that hip socket. So just kind of warming up that big joint. You might get some clicks and cracks. So you're just kind of noticing what's going on in your body. And then you can start to switch directions here. And then find your straps. We're going to do our little supine strap series here. This is really good for the lower back, for the entire spine really. But you're going to take the strap around your foot, one strap in each hand. You could do this with a scarf or a belt. If you don't have any of those props, you could just interlace your fingers around your thigh. You may need a little bend in your knee, especially if you're tighter in your hamstrings, if you're feeling a lot of sensation in the lumbar. Otherwise, the strap is nice. You can come down as far as you need to. Feel the shoulder blades get heavy. Find that rhythm of your Ujjayi breath again, that inhale through your nose, that exhale through your nose. And just observe what kind of sensation, what kind of stretch you're getting here. If you're getting plenty, this is where you stay. If you'd like to intensify things a little bit, start to extend your left leg to straight on the floor. Imagine that you're standing on that leg, so you're pressing to the center of the heel. The toes are extended up towards the ceiling. You're trying to draw this right hip crease forward, so you're trying to find space in that lower right waist. We're going to take both straps into our right hand. Left hand is going to come on your left thigh, whether or not that leg is extended or not. So just placing down there, particularly if that leg, well, in either position, knee bent or extended, feel both hip plates underneath you pressing evenly. Deep inhale. As you exhale, start to extend that right leg off to the right any amount. So we're all built a little different. If you're super tight, you're not going to go very far at all, but you're going to still be getting a really nice stretch. If you're a little more flexible, you're going to have to be mindful that you keep the back side of your body pressing evenly. So if that left hip plate starts to pop up off the mat, you've gone a little too far. So just back out. Even here, trying to find space in the lower right waist. And then we inhale up to center. Take both straps into your left hand, bring your right arm out in a T shape. So this time we want to keep that right shoulder blade anchoring down. We're going to come into our twist. This is such a nice, deep, juicy twist. You might not go very far at all. Some of us might have this right buttocks just resting on the mat, moving in that direction. Some of us that are a little more flexible are going to be able to stack our hips on top of each other. We are looking for both shoulder blades to be pressing down evenly. You're either gazing straight up at the ceiling or out over your right fingertips. Check in with your breath. Really try to fill up on the inhale. Feel how everything contracts in as you exhale. Maybe it feels like you can get into the twist a little bit deeper as well. Couple more good breaths here. Next inhale, come on up to center. Back side of the body presses evenly. We're going to bring our right big toe towards our left shoulder head. So we're just going diagonal and back. Really great glute stretch, hamstring stretch. You're going to feel this behind the knee. You might even get it in the calf. There's a lot of places where you could be getting sensation. You do want both hip plates pressing evenly again. So not going for a twist so much as this asymmetrical diagonal stretch. And this is one of those little moves that packs a really big punch. So keep your breath moving. Good, come back to center. And then we're gonna go ahead and release the strap from the foot. Give both knees a squeeze into your chest. You can rock and roll a little bit from side to side here. And then just pay attention. How do you feel on your right side? So I love this little sequence. It usually gives me a lot of space, a little more ease. So maybe you're feeling a little tighter or a little lighter, a little longer on that right side. Not tighter, we don't want that. Not going for that. So switching sides here. Actually, first we need to circle around in that left hip socket. So these circles can be big, small, just kind of seeing what you need here. And then start to switch directions. And then we go ahead and take that strap around the foot, or you can interlace around the thigh if you don't have a prop. This side might feel different. So again, the strap is great. It allows you to really snuggle your shoulder blades into the mat underneath you. So you have that nice stable base so you can come down as far as you need to. If you're tighter, giving yourself more space on the strap is going to feel really good too. Finding that inhale through your nose and that exhale through your nose. Maybe start to extend your right leg to straight on the mat. That might intensify things a little bit. If you go there and it doesn't feel good on this side, you just come back to where you were. Good. And then we're going to take both straps into our left hand. Right hand presses on that right thigh. Keep the back side of your body anchoring evenly. Start to extend. Left leg off to the left any amount. It need not go very far. This side might also feel really different in your body. So always noticing those things, never forcing anything. This is one of those stretches. Sometimes it can feel a little tedious. It can even hurt holding onto the strap. It can be really, really intense, these stretches, but it is a really, really good one to do fairly regularly. It's really healthy for the spine. This is great if you get sciatica. Let's inhale up to center. Take both straps into your right hand. Left arm comes out in a T shape. And I didn't mention this on the other side, but if you don't have a strap, you could always just bend your knee and hold on and then take the twist that way. So they're both good places to be. Again, your hips might be stacking on top of each other here. You might not be moving very far at all. Can you feel the left side of your waist gently releasing down towards the floor? Move in that direction. Really let that left shoulder blade get heavy. And either gaze straight up at the ceiling or roll onto your left cheek. Looking out over your fingertips. Good, and then inhale, come up to center. Tiny movement, left big toe towards right shoulder head. So find that diagonal stretch. Keep breathing here. This is really, really intense. Send your exhale to the places that are feeling particularly tight and tender. Visualize it, creating some space, creating a little ease. Good, and then we come back to center. Release the strap from your foot. Give both knees a squeeze into your chest. Rock a little bit from side to side. And then we're going to start to roll forward and back on your spine, assuming that feels okay. Some days it doesn't. If that's you, you just roll off to one side or the other. And after a few rolls, you're going to come all the way up, moving towards your tabletop position. So setting up for our cat-cow. So land with your shoulders over your wrists, fingers spreading, pressing evenly, knees underneath your hips. And we're going to just start to move here. So as you inhale, you arch, you find that bending in your lower back. As you exhale, you press the mat away, round in, back of the neck lengthens. And then you can just continue like this. So moving with your breath today. If you're feeling a little lethargic, maybe move your breath a little faster. If you're feeling a little anxious, a little stressed out, slow your breath down. So start to use the breath, modify it to kind of shift energetically how you're feeling. A few more rounds like this. Good, and then let's go ahead and stretch out the toes a little bit today. I apologize in advance. So we're gonna sit back on our heels. So you're gonna reach back, curl that pinky toe under, and then you're gonna sit down on your heels. We're just gonna be here for like 4 or 5 breaths. It feels like your toes are gonna break. I haven't actually seen it happen. Don't let it be you. We don't want that. If you need to, come out of it or do less, of course, always be mindful of that. This can feel really, really intense. We don't stretch our feet this way, so it is good to do from time to time. Keep breathing. Notice if you're clenching your face jaw. It's kind of hard not to, but smile through the pain instead. All right, let's come on out of this. Find that tabletop position, and then there is this tremendous sense of relief as you uncurl those toes and then start to circle your ankles around a few times each direction. Sometimes you got to do the uncomfortable pose to get to the good part. All right, so from here, walk your hands forward a couple of inches, and then we're going to curl those toes under again, but this time we're going to pull back to our downward facing dog. Oh, just see how that's feeling. And then just take a moment here, fidget around a little bit, pedal back and forth between your feet. Just kind of see what you need. You can shift hips side to side. I sometimes like to flip onto the top of one foot, so stretching out the front of the foot, which also feels really good. And then you can switch sides, get that other foot. Eventually finding a place of stillness. So heels are melting back towards the mat any amount. You might still have a really generous bend in your knees, especially these first several downward facing dogs. That's absolutely okay. From here, we're going to start to walk our hands back to meet our feet. We're going to do some Ardha Uttanasana into our Uttanasana. So as you inhale, press your hands into your shins or thighs. Chest extends forward, gaze comes forward, lengthening through the sides of your waist. Great. As you exhale, you release down, again, letting the back of the neck lengthen. Inhale into your Ardha Uttanasana. Shoulder blades squeeze in towards each other. Exhale, round in. You could think of this as a little cat-cow motion. So inhale here, we're coming to the back bend. This would be the cow stretch. As you exhale, you round in. This is a forward fold, cat stretch. Couple more like that. Just moving with your breath back and forth. The next time you're exhaling, folding in, just stay there, grab opposite elbows. Maybe find a little bend in your knees, especially if those hamstrings are feeling a little tighter. And then let's just start to sway from side to side. Just noticing that play that happens in your feet. Good, and then come to center. Change the cross of your arms, the opposite arm and elbow come in front. And then nod your head yes. Nod your head no. And then release your fingertips down to the mat. If you don't have a bend in your knees, find one. Very gently. And begin to roll on up to standing. Good, and when you get all the way up, you're gonna roll your shoulders back. And then let's just get into the neck a little bit today. So standing nice and tall on your Tadasana, your mountain pose, feet hip distance apart. Feel this openness, this stretch across your heart and chest. You can just release your arms by your side, but gently start to tuck your chin towards your chest. And starting out, this can be really challenging. The neck wants to hold on, it wants to keep the brain, the skull upright. See if you can start to release, and then notice if your shoulders are starting to creep up around your ears. Pretend that somebody's gently pressing down on your shoulders, and then keeping your chin tucked as you exhale. Begin to bring your right ear towards your right shoulder. Inhale back to center. Exhale, left ear towards left shoulder. Inhale back to center. Shoulder blades releasing down, and then continue like that. Just getting into the neck here. A few times each side. And just, again, you're just observing what's going on, noticing. Good. And then the next time that right ear is off towards your right shoulder, stay there, release, left shoulder down, maybe energetically reach more through those left fingertips. You can kind of think jazz hands. That might intensify the stretch that you're getting through these scalene muscles. So these are the muscles on the side of the neck. If you want a little more still, take your right hand, bring it to the top of your head, apply some very, very gentle pressure. You might not need to do this. So if you go there and it feels super intense, skip it. Nice work, everyone. So go ahead and release that right hand down. Exhale, or inhale rather, to center. So chin is tucked here, and then exhale. Left ear towards left shoulder. Still standing even on your feet. Taking a couple of breaths and then maybe reaching down through those right fingertips. That's going to intensify the stretch that you're feeling here. Breath smooth and steady. It doesn't seem like we're doing a lot here, but there's a lot of sensation, pretty big stretch. Most of us carry a lot of tension in the neck and shoulders. If you want a little more still, gently press your left palm to the top of your head. Do enough, don't do more. Good. And then just go ahead and release that left hand back down if you took that variation. Exhale. Come to center. And then just lift your chin, roll the shoulders again. And we're at the back of our mat here. So we're just going to find a little flow. So just a few half sun salutes to begin as you inhale, arms reach out and up. As you exhale, fold in, maybe with that bend in your knees. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Pressing down, rise up. Beautiful work. As you exhale, hands come together at your heart. Let's do 3 more of these. I'm not going to cue you. Just moving with your breath, maybe closing your eyes. Finding this flow, finding this rhythm, finding this space and grace and ease in your body. And there's absolutely no rush. When you're done with your 3rd round, you're just going to pause in your Tadasana mountain pose. And you're going to do a little mini check-in here. You're going to see how you're feeling. You're going to see what's shifted from doing those sun salutes. Might feel the heat beginning to build in your body. Maybe you feel a little quieter, calmer. Maybe you feel as though you're starting to stand just a hair taller. Let's start to add on here. So exhale, release your arms by your side. As you inhale, arms reach out and up. Right fingertips, left wrist. Exhale, side bend right. Inhale, center. Left fingertips, right wrist. Exhale, side bend left. Inhale, up. As you exhale, hinge forward, fold in. Inhale, chest extends forward, gaze comes forward. Lead with your right hand. Start to walk forward into your downward facing dog. All right, 2nd dog of the day. Take a few breaths here. Is it feeling different? It might not be yet, but you're just noticing, you're asking the question. From here, we're gonna inhale, shift forward into our plank pose. So shoulders land over your wrists, gaze slightly forward in front of your fingertips. Fire up the legs a lot. Feel the shoulder blades squeeze in towards each other. And then we're gonna lower to our knees. As you exhale, elbows bend an inch, 2 inches, no more than halfway. Inhale, press up, little mini chaturanga. 2 more. Exhale, elbows bend. It can be the tiniest amount. Inhale, press up. Exhale, lower halfway, pause, and then land on your belly. Nice work. Tops of the feet press. Let's reach our arms by our sides. So press into all 10 toenails. Feel the legs, the inner thighs start to spiral up. As you inhale, head and chest extend forward and up. Stretch your arms up. Feel the shoulder heads lift. So coming into this serpent pose variation. Really great for creating strength in these back muscles. These are really challenging poses, especially when you're newer to yoga. As you exhale, lower down. Let's do that again, but this time as you inhale, you have the option to lift your legs up off the mat as well. As you go there, if it feels really grippy in your lower back, if there's sensation that isn't good, that means you need to place the feet back down. Inhale, feel a little lightness and lift in your chest. Good, exhale, lower. Let's bend our elbows, bring our fingertips underneath our shoulder heads. So the elbows are squeezing in towards the midline. In fact, let's go the opposite way. So kind of do like the funky chicken dance. As you do that, notice how the shoulder heads begin to dip forward. So we start to collapse in our chest. Squeeze them in towards the midline. Notice how you get a little back bend here. So you feel that stretch and openness. So that's what we want. We're going to just move with the breath here. Inhale, lengthen forward and up. You're not using your hands to press up. You're using your back muscle. So it's a tiny movement as you exhale, lower. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, lengthen. Good, exhale, lower. One more, inhale up. Hold here. And then we're gonna press to our tabletop, curl our toes under, downward facing dog. Couple of breaths. And then from here, let's inhale, lift our right leg up. Keep the hips even so those right toes point down. And then as you exhale, step that right foot through between your hands, lower onto your left knee. Just move with the breath here. So you might want to have your hands on blocks, especially if you're tight in hamstrings and hip flexor. We're going to exhale, release this left hip down. And then inhale, start to straighten that right leg. So getting into the hamstring stretch there. Just flowing with the breath a few times. Exhale, hip flexor. Inhale, hamstring. Hello, big muscle groups. Exhale, melting back in. Inhale. Pull back. Let's do one more full rotation like that. And then we're going to hold each one a few breaths. Good. Inhale back. I think these ones are so nice to do every day. It's simple movement, but it feels really good. So if you're a little more flexible here, you can slide the left knee back a little further. You might have your palms pressing on the floor. Again, if you're tighter, hands on blocks is really nice. Keep that breath moving. Make sure there's not tension in your face and jaw. It happens in these intense stretches. All right, pull back into your half splits. Take the blocks with you if you need. You might be completely upright, just holding onto a piece of wall, especially if your hamstrings are really tight. Nice work, meal. If you're a little more open, you're finding a little more forward fold, so walking your hands forward. Keep that feeling of cobra pose in your upper body. And then let's rock on up here. Bring your hands to that front thigh. So make sure that you're not on a tightrope. Maybe you need to walk that right foot off to the right a little bit so we want our feet hips distance apart. And we're going to inhale, stretch the arms up. Maybe start to bring your gaze up. Maybe press palms together. Good. As you exhale, unwind, curl your left toes under. Keep your hips this low. So keep gazing forward. Step your right foot back to meet your left foot. So here we are in our plank pose, taking an inhale. And then exhale, you can do full chaturanga if you want, or you can do your modified chaturanga. I'm going to stick with that today. So knees down, land on your belly. Inhale, low cobra. As you exhale, pull back, downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg lift. So hips stay even, those left toes are pointing down. Exhale, step that foot through, and then land on that right knee. And then just flowing with the breath here. So exhale in, releasing that right hip flexor down. Inhale, bring that left leg to straight, left hip back, right hip forward. Exhale in. Little, kind of simple little flow here. Couple more like this. Just noticing how this side is different in your body. Let's do one more cycle. And then coming in for the hold. So using props if need be. If you're a little more open, sliding that right knee a little further back. Breath smooth and steady. And then we pull back to our Ardha Hanumanasana, our half splits. Hips are facing the same direction. It's that low crescent pose feeling. So left hip draws back as right hip draws forward. That's going to actually intensify the stretch that you're feeling in that left hamstring as well. The more you flex the foot, the more sensation you're going to get. So you can, if you're feeling really tight here, you can always take a bend in the knee, kind of relax that foot. That's going to take some of the effort out of the pose as well. All right, so rock on forward, hands up to left thigh. And again, you're just making sure that you're not on a tight rope. So walk your left foot off to the left if you need to. Directing tailbone down, feeling the sternum stretch as you lengthen through both sides of your waist. Inhale, arms reach out and up. Low crescent here. And then maybe bring your gaze up. Press palms. As you exhale, hands return to the mat. So curl those right toes under, firm that thigh up. Keep looking forward, keep stretching your tailbone back. Step left foot to meet right foot in your plank pose. Take an inhale. Good, and then exhale, your version of chaturanga, modified or full. Inhale into your low cobra. Let's hold here a couple of breaths. Keep the elbows squeezing in, press into all 10 toenails. If you're ready for an upward facing dog, drag the hands back, wrists underneath elbows, check to see that that's happening. Press into the tops of your feet, straighten the arms. So your shins, your knees, your thighs are lifting up off the mat in this up dog. If that's not happening, lower back down into your low cobra. Nice work. These look good. Roll over your toes. Pull back, downward facing dog. Deep inhale through your nose. Open your mouth, sigh the breath out, let it go. Ha. And then nice and easy, start to walk your feet forward to meet your hands. Inhale, chest lengthens. Exhale, fold in. Root down into your feet, stretch arms out and up. As you exhale, hands come together at your heart. All right, good work. As you inhale, stretching arms up. As you exhale, hinge, forward fold in. Inhale, chest extends forward, gaze comes forward. So bend knees, plant palms, just step your left foot way back. You can be on your fingertips here. We're gonna heel toe our right foot to the left twice. Spin into the back edge of your left foot, so right heel is intersecting that arch. Windmill arms up and over, finding your Virabhadrasana 2. So you're facing the long edge of your mat. Big hip opener here. You're pressing your right knee behind you. Shoulders love to creep up around the ears here. Soften them down. Back leg likes to get lazy, so really firm into the back edge of that foot. And then let's inhale, straighten that front leg, stretch the arms up overhead, couple like that. Exhale, sink back in. Inhale, pressing to straight. Exhale, sink in. This time, flip your right palm up. Inhale, find your reverse warrior. Exhale, Virabhadrasana 2. Inhale, reverse. Good. Exhale, Virabhadrasana 2. This time, let's go ahead and inhale, press that front leg to straight. And then exhale, hinge at this right hip crease. Lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. Keep pressing to the inner edge of your right foot. We're finding our triangle pose. So hand on thigh or shin or block behind you. Shoulder blades stacking on top of each other. Your gaze might be down. You might be looking forward. You might be looking up. Seeing how spacious you can get in this pose, really trying to take up a lot of room. Good, breath smooth and steady. Let's start to bend our right knee here. So coming into our Pashimo Tanasana, side angle pose. This is like warrior 2 legs, triangle upper body. Deep inhale. Exhale. Unwind here. So palms plant. Good. Step back to your plank pose. Take an inhale. Exhale. You take a chaturanga, whether modified or the full version. Inhale into your low cobra or your upward facing dog. Good. As you exhale, you pull back into your downward facing dog. And then we do that little sequence to the second side. So as you inhale, your left leg lifts. Exhale, step that foot through. And then heel toe it to the right twice. Spin into the back edge of your right foot. Your left heel is intersecting that right arch. Deep, deep bend in this left knee. Inhale, windmill arms up and over. Virabhadrasana 2, just a couple of breaths like this. So fill out the pose. This right hip is releasing down as you find the hip opener in this left leg. You're gazing soft and gentle out over those left fingertips. Shoulder blades releasing down your back. Press to the inner edge of that left foot as you inhale. Start to straighten that leg. These are triangle pose legs. Exhale, sink in. Torso is upright. It's just facing towards the long edge of your mat. Inhale, straighten. Good. Exhale, sink in. All right, we're going to reverse this time. Left palm faces up. Inhale, up and over. So that gorgeous side stretching. Exhale, Virabhadrasana 2. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, Virabhadrasana 2. Press to the inner edge of that left foot. Inhale, straighten that leg. And then exhale, you find a little tilt here. It's like your little teapot. Reach, 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 extend to lengthen through this left side. Hand on thigh, shin, fingertips to block behind your foot. Feel the shoulder blades stack on top of each other. What happens here sometimes is we really lean this top arm back, so you don't have to overdo it. Find length on the underside of your body, that left side of your waist, and then spin those left ribs up. You can be looking down, forward, or up. Notice if your head is kind of hanging. So you want to engage here. You want your cervical spine, so this upper spine, to just be an extension of the rest of the spine. And then we're going to start to bend this left knee. So hand on block is really good. You might need to bring those fingertips forward a little bit. So we've come into our side angle pose, Hanumanasana. Can press that left knee into your upper left arm. Breath smooth and steady. Good. As you exhale, you unwind here, palms plant. Keep your hips a slow step back to your plank pose. Take an inhale. Exhale. Chaturanga. Inhale, low cobra or upward facing dog. As you exhale, pull back. Downward facing dog. Take a nice deep inhale here. Open your mouth, sigh the breath out, let it go. Ha. And then from here, let's just lower to our knees. So cross your ankles behind you and then sit back. And then we're going to come onto our back. Going to just move into some bridge pose here. So just warming up the spine. So basically the same way we set up our class. So landing with your ankles underneath your knees, edges of the feet parallel with the edges of the mat, arms by your side. All right, as you inhale, just notice how there's this natural curve in your lumbar spine. As you exhale, I want you to start to lose that. So you curl your tailbone forward and then press into your feet, lift up. Inhale, stretch your arms up overhead. Good. Exhale, release the arms down by your side. Hips stay lifted. Inhale, release down. Good. Exhale. Extend tailbone forward. Press into feet. Lift hips. Inhale, stretch arms up and over. Good. Exhale, release your arms by your side. Inhale, lower down. Just observe that natural curve in the lower back. As you exhale, start to lose it. So curl forward. Press into feet, lift hips. Inhale. Arms reach up overhead. Let's keep them there for a few breaths. Inhaling, feeling especially the upper chest cavity fill up with air. And then exhale. Directing that tailbone slightly forward. Keep your hips lifted as you exhale, release your arms by your side. Couple of options. You grab the outer edges of your mat, snuggle shoulders underneath you, or you interlace fingers underneath you. Dragging knuckles towards heels. Your gaze is straight up at the ceiling here, so it's tempting to look at the computer screen. Just listen instead. A lot of pressure on the neck and shoulders, so we don't want to look side to side in this pose. Good, deep inhale. Exhale, go ahead and release down. And then just walk your feet as wide as your mat. Take your arms out in a T shape, nice and easy. Start to windshield wiper the legs back and forth. So just releasing out the lower back after that back bending. Good. And then when you've finished off to that left side, hug the knees in. You might want to find a little happy baby here. So either grabbing the thighs, gently pressing down, or maybe the outer edges of your feet. Start to lose that curve in the lower back. So again, tailbone is extending forward here, getting this nice hip and groin stretch as well. Good, and then you can release. And we're gonna roll up to seated. You can roll off to one side. So coming in to our Dandasana pose. So if it's really challenging to sit up tall here, I encourage you to sit up on some blankets or blocks, and then you might want to have your strap handy again here. And feel shoulders stacking over your hips. You're rooting down into the sit bones. You're pressing into your heels. Your toes are pointing up towards the ceiling. Just taking a few breaths like this and just noticing how much effort it takes to sit like this. It's not easy. Really good for helping to build core strength. We're going to bring the sole of our right foot to the inside of our left thigh. So setting up for our Janu Shavasana. So we're finding a little twist here. If you know that you're in the tight camp, you're just going to grab your strap and take it around the sole of your foot. Good. And then you can walk your hands down the strap any amount as you start to forward fold. If you're a little more flexible, maybe you want to reach the arms up and then stretch forward. So maybe you can grab the foot, the shin. A couple of us might grab the left wrist with our right hand. Keep wrapping right ribs towards that extended left leg. So there's a little bit of twist in this pose. Find your breath again if you've lost it. Maybe start to stretch it out a little bit. Inhaling to the count of 7 or 8 or 9. And then exhaling to that same number. Good. As you inhale, roll on up, and then let's inhale, take our arms out wide. Good. Exhale, begin to twist to the right. Just stay here like this. Imagine that you have 2 friends pulling on your wrists. So just stretching you out in opposite directions. And then reach those right fingertips behind you. Left hand comes to the outside of that right thigh. Keep pressing. Shoulder heads back. Keep sitting nice and tall. Left sit bone might get a little bit light here, but try to sit pretty evenly. And then maybe you start to bring your gaze out over your right shoulder. Good deep inhale. Exhale, come back to center. Just use your right hand to the outside of that right thigh to help draw that leg in. Extend leg to straight. Here we are back in our Dandasana seated staff pose. Couple of breaths. Good, and then we're going to take the sole of the left foot to the inside of that right thigh. So there's a little twist in this pose, however you're doing it. Strap is nice, it helps to articulate the foot, and then it gives you that leverage to wrap those left ribs towards your right thigh. Again, you can reach your arms up overhead, find that length, keep twisting and then hinge forward. Nice work, everyone. If you're a little more flexible, you might be holding onto that right wrist with your left fingertips just beyond that foot. How does this side feel different in your body? Noticing these things. A few more good breaths here. Right, we inhale, start to roll on up. Take an exhale, root into your sit bones, and then inhale, stretch your arms out wide. Good. Exhale. Begin to twist to the left. Just take a couple of breaths like this, really reaching out, feeling nice and long. What's happening with your right toes? Make sure they're pointing up towards the ceiling. And then release your left fingertips behind you. Right hand to the outside of that left thigh. Shoulder heads gently pressed back. Begin to wrap right ribs to the left. Maybe you're gazing out over that left shoulder. Breath smooth and steady. Deep inhale. Good. As you exhale, you unwind. Just use your left hand to help draw that left knee in. Extend legs to straight. And then we're going to come into one final forward fold here. So our Pashimo Tanasana. So feet around the straps is really nice, especially if the hamstrings are tight. If you're a little more open, you can stretch arms up again. Hold on to length. Think a little back bend. As you hinge forward, fold in. Super intense pose. A little bend in the knees can help if you're getting a lot of sensation in your hamstrings. Sometimes we can round the spine a lot to go a little deeper, but we actually lose a little bit of the stretch. So maybe go less far, but think more back bend, especially in the upper body. Think extension in your spine, lengthening through the sides of your waist. From here, we inhale, roll up. And then you're going to give yourself a little squeeze. So bend your knees to your knees. You can feel that release in the back of the neck. And then we're going to move into our final resting pose. If you wanted to stay seated in quiet meditation today, you're welcome to do that. Otherwise, just coming onto your back. Maybe one more little squeeze here, and then making your way into your Shavasana. So if there's tenderness in your lower back, feet wide, knees knock in towards each other, or you can roll up a blanket or take some blocks, just place them underneath your knees, just giving yourself a little support. Make sure that you're nice and comfortable. I always find it's nice not to be touching any props. Sometimes that can be a little distracting, so move any stuff out of the way that you need to. And then completely surrender, melt in here. Give yourself permission to soak up these final moments of your yoga practice. Take a deeper inhale. Open your mouth, sigh the breath out, let it go. Ha. Wiggle fingers, toes, stretch out. Staying soft and quiet, roll to one side. Just find the fetal position. And then use your hands to press up. So finding a comfortable seat, checking in one final time here, noticing how you're feeling differently. So are you sitting a little taller with a greater sense of ease? Is the breath a little steadier and richer? Is the head space quieted down a little bit? Are you feeling a little more focused, a little calmer, maybe a little sense of joy? Soak up all of these good feelings that you've created. Just promise yourself that you're going to carry a little of this feeling with you into the rest of the day, the rest of the week ahead. Bring your palms together at your heart. Just bow your head with a smile. Beautiful work today. Thank you.